So we have already covered what attribution is, how to use them, how to use it. We've seen attribution in the marketplace, and we have also seen the different models that are there for attribution and how and when to use them. So let's move on to what data is needed for attribution. So firstly, there's the web analytics data, and even in that you need to know that what granularity of data do you need, which basically means the scope or level of data that you need. So firstly you can have the touch points. As we said, it could the data collected through web analytics, it could include traffic sources, referring sites, page views, paths taken, and conversion rates. So the touch points, suppose if they are coming on through one one source or some other source, you need that information. So you need to know that you need that information. For example, let's say uh, uh, data collection, it can be done using UTMs, right? And UTMs, they are just parameters in the URL, and they don't change the destination of the URL. As you can see, this is the main URL, and these are the UTMs, and these are just parameters. You can see UTM source equals to Facebook, which means that this is a parameter. What it does is it's saying that uh, the source of this visit is Facebook, the channel of this visit is Facebook, and the medium, right? The medium is social. It could be social, paid search, etc. So in this case, the medium is social, and the campaign is the name of the campaign that you're running. All right. So this is how you can collect data using UTMs. They don't change the destination of the URL. As we can see, the destination still remains the same, but they provide they you could say forward certain data to analytics regarding the interaction on the site. Right. And this is why Google Analytics also has its own attribution models as well, because they already have the data there, and it just becomes easier to implement attribution models when you have the data in the same place. So that's why Google Analytics has its own attribution models. It provides you the options, and we have already seen the different types of attribution models, but there's also custom models that you could make, which could suit your needs, right? Then we covered the interactions, but there's also user specific data that you need to collect. So in user specific data, you could collect it by giving users specific user ID. So that way you wouldn't have to rely on just cookies, because cookies working with cookies can be a bit challenging in this case, because we know it's browser centric, it's not client centric. So it's better advice to give user ID to each client, so you can track user level data as well, right? And then you also need the conversion rates and the revenue for those conversions. You need to know what conversions happen and what revenue was there for those conversions, right? So these are the this is the different the spectrum of data that you need going into attribution, right? And next, we need to understand the categorization of conversions. So it could be a macro conversion, which is just revenue based conversion, or lead member acquisition conversion, inquiry conversions, or it could be micro conversions, which could be navigation based conversions, or interaction based conversion, or engagement based conversions. Now what this means is that macro conversion, when we are speaking of macro conversions, it basically implies a completion of a purchase, right? A completion of a purchase or a lead generation comes under macro conversion, right? This is the uh, simplest explanation for a macro conversion. Whereas a micro conversion, as we saw, macro conversion is a completion of a purchase, but micro conversion is a completion of an activity, right? So any interactions or engagements you make, uh, they mainly happen before the purchase. So any of those interactions, they come under micro conversion. And as you can see from this image, micro conversions usually come before a macro conversion, because it's obvious that you will navigate on the site and interact with certain things on the site before you make a purchase. But also, it's not the case in every example. It's just that in most of the cases, micro conversions lead to a macro conversion, right? Then there are certain complexities as well while you're working with data for attribution, because we know what's happening on the website, right? We know what interactions are being made, and what is the user doing on the site, and we know stuff like that. But we also need to account for stuff that's happening outside of the website, because when you see first, this is where the actual macro conversion is happening. But you can see before that there's multiple visits and multiple impressions as well. So, and impressions, they are happening outside of the website. Suppose you have a display ad that's advertising your website, and a user has, after looking at that ad, they have come on your website. So you need to take that into account as well, that before coming on the website, the user had watched this ad, or they had clicked on this email. So these are just a few complexities that you need to keep in mind, that you need to know what happens both inside and outside of the website, and that becomes a bit challenging, right? Then moving on, there are some other sources of data as well, like APIs, SEO, affiliate networks. And in APIs, for example, Google, it provides it has its own tracker for every interaction that is happening. So whereas other platforms might not, so even that becomes a challenge in some cases. Whereas in like, as I said, in Google it's separate for every interaction, but in Facebook you have to uh, you have to measure it as a aggregate conversion, and it could be different for other platforms as well. So that's another challenge. And speaking of these sources of data, we are going to be seeing more into these as we move on to the tactical applications of APIs, SEO, affiliate, CRO, etc. So we are going to be seeing in detail about all these as well. So yeah, with that we have completed all the theory part that was there to attribution. We saw what it is. So if we just quickly go back, we can see it is just the analytical science of determining which marketing tactics are contributing to sales or conversions. Then we saw the importance of it. We saw benefits and some common challenges and mistakes, and attribution in the marketplace, how to use attribution. Then we covered the different attribution models, and finally in this video we covered what data is needed and some challenges that could happen while going about data and attribution. So yeah, now in the further videos we'll just be looking at the tactical application of CRO, SEO, affiliates, etc. So yeah, this was all for the video. Thank you for watching.